Okay, okay, now let's see rule number 4. Rule number 4. Okay, yesterday we have studied rule number 1, which is associative law. Rule number 2, blocks in series. What will happen? When the blocks are in series, they get multiplied. When the blocks are in parallel, they get added. That was rule number 3. Now, rule number 4. Okay. Here, shifting the summing point behind the block. Rule number 4 is shifting the summing point behind the block. Okay, what is that? I have, this is my input is R. I have a block of G here. Then I have a summing point here. Okay, let the summing point input is Y is added to it and you will get the output C. Okay, now what are the expressions? Let's see. When this is the circuit, what is my C of S? Okay, now input R is coming to this. When input R is coming here, that means it is in series. At this point, what output I will have? R into G. Then now it is this RG is entering here, this Y is entering here. It is a summer. So at this point, what will have? RG plus Y. So now your C will be equal to RG plus Y. Okay. So I can write it C of S is equal to R into G plus Y. This is my expression. What? For the given circuit. Now what they have asked, if I'm going to shift the summing point behind the block. If I'm going to shift this summing point behind the block, this is called shifting behind the block. Okay. Now, then what will be my circuit? See, I have an input R of S. This is after shifting. Where we are shifting? Behind the block. So, what will happen? This now here summer will be here. This summer is shifted here. Okay, output Y. Then I have a block of G, output C. So, now let's see what is the expression. Here R is coming. Now it is plus. R plus, at this point what output I will get? R plus Y. Now this is in series with G. So what I should write? R plus Y. Series means it will get multiplied. This is present at this. Okay, now C is nothing but R plus Y to G. Now expression here is C of S is equal to R plus Y into G. Is this both same? No, this both is not same. But we have to make it same. That is our task. Even after shifting the summing point, I should get the C of S as what I've got earlier. This C of S I should get even after shifting. How can I get that? Okay. Now what I will do is, this point, this Y I have shifted, now I will name this Y as X, just for simplicity purpose. Okay. Now R plus X it will become, and now my expression will be like this, R plus X. Okay, this both is not same. My task is to make them same. So what should I add? See, you have already studied in your basics that you, in order to retain the output as it is, we used to divide and multiply by some product so that the output remains same. Same logic we are going to bring here. Okay. Now I will name this equation as 1 and this equation as 2. What I am going to do is equate equation 1 and equation 2. So what will happen? What is my equation 1? Rg plus y is equal to Rg plus xg. What I have done? Multiplied it. Okay. Now, this Rg and this Rg I can cancel. What I will do? Rg minus Rg plus y is equal to xg. It will become. So, this Rg and this Rg will cut cancel. So, now y is equal to x into g. From here, what is x? X is equal to y by g. Okay. X is equal to y by g. Okay. Now, what I am going to do is, this x is equal to, I will write like this, into y. That means what? Now, G is this block. So, in this circuit, instead of this x, I am going to write by a block of y by g. See now, my expression are summing point. Okay. Now what I should get it? C of g is equal to Rg plus y I want. So what I will do? This x sum. Now I will multiply by like this. This block I will put. See y into 1 by g. Now at this point what output I have? Y by g I have. Then plus sign. At this place what I will get? R plus y by g I will get. Okay. At this point what output I will get? R plus y by g into g I will get. So what is your C of S now? C of S is equal to R plus y by g into g. Now let's multiply. C of S is equal to Rg plus y into g by g. G will get cancelled. So C of S is equal to Rg plus y. See this, whether this and the first equation is same. Yes, this one first equation is same. Okay. That means even now after shifting the summing point behind the block, then what we have to do, that summer should be now multiplied by a factor 1 by g in order to get that output. So that x was now replaced by y by g. Okay, y is the input, g 1 by g is my gain of the block. So that if it, and then after simplification we will get back the same. So what is that? If note, if the block is in, if the block, if, or you can say if the summing point is shifted behind the block, then that block should be multiplied by a gain of y by g in order to retain the output. Next rule is rule number 5. Rule number 5. In rule number 5, what happened? Shifting the summing point. Here you are going to shift the summing point. Shifting the summing point beyond the block. Shifting the summing point beyond the block. Same circuit we are going to redraw here. I have an input R. Summing point is here, which is named as y. and I have a block of G. Output is C. Okay. Now what is the output at this point? It is R plus Y. At this point it is R plus Y into G. So C of S is equal to R plus Y into G or RG plus YG. C of S is equal to RG plus YG. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to shift the summing point. See, the summing point is here now. You are going to shift the summing point beyond the block. Beyond the block. When I am shifting the summing point beyond the block, how my circuit will be? Shifting the summing point beyond the block. Then how my circuit will be? I have an input of R here, then G, my summing point is shifted here. That shifted summing point I will name it as X, then output C. What are the values? Here R and G are in series, so output will be RG. Now here the output will be RG plus X. So C will be equal to RG plus X. These both are not equal. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to equate this and then find out which term should be multiplied in order to retain the output. So Rg plus Yg is equal to Rg plus X. Rg will get cancelled. So X is equal to Yg. So that, okay. Now to retain the output, that X, here the X is there. Now this X should be replaced by a block of Y into G. So now your circuit will look like this. Input R, I have a block of G, then I have a summing point plus here I am going to add a block of G with an input of Y. So at this point, then I'll have C. Now see the expression. Here what will be this? R into G. Here Y is Y into G. It is product. So Y into G. At the output what I will get is RG plus YG. So C of S is equal to RG plus YG. Is it same as your first equation? Yes. In order to get that same, you have to multiply the block with G. Okay, note. Okay. If the summing point is shifted beyond the block, then the block should be, then the X should be multiplied by Y into G. A gain of Yg should be multiplied in order to retain the output. This is rule number 5. So I'll summarize rule number 4 and rule number 5 now. Rule number 4 is shifting the summing point behind the block. Here I have a circuit here and this summing point is shifted beyond the block. See, before shifting this was my output. After shifting, I'm going to shift the summing point beyond. behind the block. Now this will be my circuit diagram after shifting behind the block. Then I have to see the expression what it is. If the expression is not equal, it is not equal. So what I do, I have to find out which term I should multiply here in order to retain the output. So for that what I will do, I will equate both the LHS. I will simplify, and I got that x is equal to y by g. That means this input x is now replaced by a block of y by g. How you are going to replace it? See now, at the summing point, I am going to multiply a block of gain 1 by g with y as input. So y into g will get multiplied, and the remaining output you see. Then simplify it. Your first equation and your third equation will be same. That is, even after shifting the summing point behind the block, and that summing point should be now multiplied again of y by g in order to retain that output. So that is the note. Now if the summing point is shifted beyond the block, then see now before shifting, your summing point is here. Before shifting, what is your expression? That you should get even after the shifting. So after shifting, you check for the output. It is not same. So you have to multiply now with another term such that the output will remain same. For that what you do? Equate equation, both the equations, you equate it. Then you get a value for x. This x is now replaced by a block of gain y into g. So if you do like that, your output will remain same. So if the summing point is shifted behind the block, the gain should be multiplied by 1 by g. The block should be multiplied by 1 by g. If the summing point is shifted beyond the block, then the block should be multiplied by a gain of y into g. This is about rule number 5.